But Group Captain, you're suggesting here that this is potentially the work of rogue elements within the military. But you're an experienced former military official. You were in the armed services when, for example, former President Olusegun Obasanjo ordered the operation in Odi, for example. That was a systematic incident where you had mass violence against a civilian population, and it was ordered from the top. So can you say that it's just in a situation of rogue elements within the military making wrong moves?
Well, I always treat each situation on its own merit, and I look at it on its own peculiarities. In the case of the Zaki BM, we have the former head of state and commander-in-chief who owned up that the operation was ordered. But again, to be fair to the senior military or even political leaders, when you order an operation, what actually happens on the ground could be different from what you ordered. But in the case of the Zaki BM that you brought during Obasanjo, it is there on record that there was a problem. The then Governor Akume requested for military operation and a certain unit was sent. So that is different from this. What we have now, we have the military not owning up that a unit was sent to do this particular task. We do not have the political masters, just like during Obasanjo, saying, I ordered this operation. So that being the case, we have to give everybody the benefit of doubt until investigations or other proof otherwise. But the point I am making is that the military, I know, it could not be an institutional thing that go and kill these people or go and kill this tribe or go and kill this ethnic group. I do not, my experience does not bear that out.
Okay, well, when we look at some of the first world militaries, you find that wherever troops are stationed, whether as individuals or in groups, they are located. At any given point in time, they're able to say, we have this group here, this group here. You will know exactly where your soldiers are not and where they are. There seems to be a level of arbitrariness right now within the Nigerian military in which violence can happen in a community and then the military will say, well, our men didn't do it. But at the same time, there doesn't seem to be that command and control over the precise location of where troops are at any given point in time. Does that tally with the reality of what you saw when you were in the armed services?
No, the reality I know. Every military force, including the Nigerian military, they can always account for which unit, which commander, which force in any particular place. Soldiers don't go on their own to carry out an operation. They are sent. So if we're looking to find where they say there is any misbehavior or any misconduct by any forces, the military as organized is well placed to track who and who was there. And even if it is a rogue soldier from somewhere, the unit that is supposed to be there should be able to fish out the rogue soldier or the rogue force that infiltrated. But like I said, there are so many things with which genuine military forces can be identified. I know for a fact the military I left, you dress up. In fact, if you dress up without your name tag, you're already in violation. Because the name tag in itself is part of the uniform. If you're not wearing a name tag, whether you wear boots, you wear trousers, you wear stockings, you wear hat, it means you're improperly dressed. So as long as militaries operate in groups and they're properly identified, it makes it very easy to track any wrongdoer.
Mr. Angbo, I know you have some thoughts. Please share.
Yes. Now, talking about the proper dressing of military personnel, one of the allegations that is coming out from Benue State right now, particularly in this local government where these killings happened yesterday, is the fact that the military men that are stationed there have removed their name tags. Now, if you fast forward back, if you go back to what happened last week with the killings and the raising down of a community in Naka local government, Naka, same local government, you realize that, number one, someone was killed whom they claimed that he was a criminal. And the military people came and raised down the community. And I have a problem with that. Even if a military officer was killed and it's confirmed that this is a military officer that was killed, it's not up to the military to raise down a community. That is an atrocity that must be brought before the National Human Rights Commission and the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Why? Because your job is not to go and kill people. And so if something happens like that, the first thing is to constitute a panel of inquiry and find out who are those behind the killings. and carry out your proper investigation, because they have all it takes to bring people to justice and to book. And so you don't do that, but you go out and you take the laws into your hands. Why? Because you have the guns. Then you have what is happening. And so why people believe that there is some form of conspiracy theory is that when these things happen, but the first thing we see is that rather than for the army to say we are going to look into this, they first deny it. That's the style. They deny that this happened. And so it gives people the belief that, come on, these people are not really out for us. Now, take for example, look at what happened. The military drafted the unit to go to the North Central to do Operation Ayakbatuma, which is to dance, a cat dance. And I know for sure what happens with the dance is that when you dance, you attract the public, you attract people. And so these people went and danced. And during their space of dancing in Benue State and the other environment and Taraba, one of the things you saw is that there was a resurgence or an increase in attack. It didn't stop anything. Then they pulled out after the 45 days, and then you're now seeing. So what that simply means is that there is the complacency of these organizations or these people that seem to have complicity in it. And so what then do we need to do? Is for the military to live up to its expectation.